My name's Sandie and I'm 25 years old and I've got 3 beautiful children. I am the founder of the Female Mindset Project and I help women across the globe to feel amazing. I help with mindset work, law of attraction work, self-confidence and self-worth. Okay, so I've always had like a passion for like helping people. Um, Hence why I was in the healthcare sector and I quickly made my way up to like management status. But I think it was when I decided to try something new, and I went into network marketing, and very quickly I began to realise all about the law of attraction and mindset strategies, and I think everything made more sense because throughout my life I'd actually been using this because I've had quite a crazy life, but I never put a name to it, so I didn't know what I was doing, but I was doing something, to help cope with what was happening to me and the issues that I've been through. So when I did start network marketing, it was kind of like a light bulb moment. I was just like, oh my God, that's exactly like what I've been doing my whole life. And it just opened a world for me. And I very quickly got asked to, within about 5 months, I got asked to be featured in a book, alongside 19 other amazing women, just sharing their stories about how they'd gone from not having the greatest upbringing or something traumatic happened in the past to where they are now, starting their own business, being brave enough to sack the boss, people call it. And from there, really, being brave enough to share my story, which I wasn't going to do. At the beginning, I was quite wary because I was like, people don't think like my past is my past. They just think, oh my God, she's so outgoing, she's had an amazing life, when actually no, that isn't right. So I was a little bit worried about sharing it, and it was only like last minute, I'd say 2 days, I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And I think everything happens for a reason, because if I never have done that, I wouldn't be doing what I do now, because I had no clue that this online world of mindset coaching and helping people online build businesses, not even just businesses. I do work with a lot of people, women, that need a little bit more support and self-development to work within the business. But I've got people that don't have businesses and just have normal jobs, but are really closed off from the world. So they really need that self-love back or self-development. When I was younger, when I was 6, it became quite obvious that me and my mum never had that mother-daughter relationship, which is okay, like it's fine, I'm not bothered about it. And she kicked me out of the home, the family home, really, really young. So I went to live with my grandmother, who's more like a mum to me. And I think it didn't really affect me, but it did, now I'm looking back. And I became like a bit out of control. So I got myself in the wrong crowds. I was drinking with people a lot older than me. I did end up getting sexually abused by quite a few people on a park one night. I got bullied throughout my school life. I then fell pregnant at the age of 14. It was just crazy. I was depressed, but I didn't even know it. I didn't know how to handle my emotions, but I just kept going on and on and on. Multiple suicide attempts. And yeah, I've always got in wrong relationships when I'm older, because now I know exactly why that happened. Because I had no self-worth. I didn't feel like I was good enough for anybody. And it's just, now I realise, so coming into doing what I do, I realise why that happened, so I don't need to feel guilty anymore. Like a lot of women do, if things happen to them, they blame themselves, and a bit like, oh, why has this happened to me? It must be me. When actually, there's a reason behind everything. And yeah, it's not been the easiest, but it's definitely, I think I was put on this planet and put through all that, trauma and upset, and found myself in the care system to help other people now, because it was a bad time. yeah. But I'm through it, and I'm helping everybody else get through the same now. So it was definitely a good thing. Now I look back, but it hasn't always been good. I became a mummy very, 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 very young, at 14, whilst I was in the care system, which for a lot of people, and actually a hell of a lot of people, thought this was not good. And I can understand why. I wouldn't like it if my daughters fell pregnant at 14. But actually, it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because my life was spiralling out of control. I had no self-worth. I acted a lot older than what I thought I was. I had boyfriends a lot older than me. I was getting myself in the wrong crowds. I would pretty much do what I wanted when I wanted. The typical care system kid, like, you know, spiraling out of control and thinking that I was invincible, and actually that wasn't the case. I was just, now I look back at it and I've healed myself. It was a case of, I've actually been let down by pretty much every person in my life, and I was just seeking that love and attention, and I was going about it in the wrong ways. So having Callum so young, luckily was a massive wake-up call for me, because I thought to myself, there is no way on this planet that he is having any sort of life than what I had. So from 14, the mindset work kicked in. I was like, that's it. You know, I'm going to go to school, because I used to truant from school. I never used to go. I was in some guy's house who I didn't even know. So I went back to school, the last 18 months. I passed my GCSEs. I then went on to do my A-levels, and then eventually went on to do my uni. So if it wasn't for getting pregnant at 14 with Callum, my life would probably be very different. It's all online, so it's through Facebook. I have got a website that I did have to set up about 3 weeks later, but that's getting revamped at the minute. So yeah, it's all online, so it's a Facebook group, but also I've got a business page on Facebook, and I do a lot of work actually now. I'm kind of blending it all together. So, because what I have realised is there are people that don't know the group exists, and unless somebody has told them, but they're actually following me on Facebook, because I will do certain live videos and things that aren't personal on my personal profile. So you've got to know who I am or what it is I do to kind of be in the closed community. So I'm trying at the minute now, I'm blending it all together, which you've got to be careful, because obviously people don't want their stories all over social media, especially the women I work with. There's some heartbreaking stories like you wouldn't even believe. It's actually a little bit overwhelming that I've created something so amazing. And I think when I was putting together, when I first had this vision and I was like doing my mind map and writing down exactly how I wanted it to be, it's kind of like topped that expectations, because we're family. We're literally like family, and we help each other. So say if I went on a weekend away, there's always someone there helping each other out. So it's not just a group where there's somebody posting like pictures or quotes. There's just so much interaction. Even I can't keep up now. Yeah, it's amazing. That absolutely, I'm literally so proud of every single one of them, because they've, in not even 3 months, they've changed. Some life-changing things have happened within their lives, and you know, it's not easy to change your mindset, and I know that. So to do it in 3 months, it's just amazing. See, if you'd asked me this 4 months ago, it would have been so different. So success for me is, it was actually not so long ago, a few weeks maybe ago, and my firstborn Callum, who's now 9 now, he said to me, like, and he isn't a lovey child, you know, he's a boy, they never are. He actually turned around and he said, "Mummy, I'm so proud of you, what you're doing, and I want to be like you." So he comes to the events that I do, and to me, having him look up to me and say, "I'm so proud of you," when so many people told me it was a bad idea to have him. So that, I feel successful knowing that my children are proud of me every single day.
Okay, so my name's Mo, I'm 54, I've got 2 children and 3 grandchildren. I've got my own business, a sweet company that, Sweet Heaven by Mo and Danny, edit that out. So I first met Sandie, it was really strange actually, because I was at a crossroads in my life where my anxiety was really, really bad. I've got depression, I've got anxiety, I've got, what's it called? Post-traumatic stress disorder. So I was at a really bad place, but I was about to go back to the doctors and increase my medication because my anxiety was going out of control. And I set my business up last year and it was affecting my business because I hadn't got the confidence to get out there and push my business, so it was starting to fail. So I knew I had to do something. So then I joined this group, and Sandie was part of this group. It was a business event, and Sandie introduced herself in it, and I thought, oh, that sounds quite interesting, I might have a nosy at that. So I just clicked on it and I joined, which is not something I would normally do. It was a very impulsive decision. And I was like scrolling through, and there was a video on there that she'd done about putting makeup on. So I just played it and it was hysterical. She was just totally making fun of herself and just having a laugh. And I thought, this girl is genuine. I can relate to her, you know. And so I just like joined the group and I got actively involved in it. And what I loved about the group was everybody has got a story to tell. And all the stories are different. And some of them are really heartbreaking. I used to watch them and cry. But we've all got a background, so we're all helping each other. Even though we've got different stories, we all want to help each other and move forward with it. And then Sandie was going on about this mindset, and some of the stuff she was saying I didn't understand at the time, I'll be totally honest with you. But I was really intrigued in it, and I thought, well, I'd heard most of her story, and look at her. Look at the person she is. She's not a victim. You know, she's trying to help other women, and I thought, what an inspiring woman this is. I really want to get to know her. So I delved more into it. My story is basically that I had a brilliant childhood, unlike quite a lot of the women in the group. My childhood was wonderful. But then I had abusive relationships. So that really knocked my self-esteem. And then, unfortunately, when I had my 2 children, my eldest daughter, she saw the effects of the abusive relationships. So when I eventually found the strength to kick him out, which was a really hard thing to do because I was so frightened of him, it had a knock-on effect on her, and she grew up having a very, very low self-esteem and had a really poor relationship with her father, to the point where she took 2 overdoses. So I had to cope with 24 hours of not knowing if my daughter was going to survive because her organs could have failed. So having to deal with that as a mum was very, very difficult because you just feel such a failure. You know, because it's like, why couldn't you help your own daughter? So it was a lot of having to deal with that, but I did always believe that everything in life happens for a reason. Even that, it sounded totally crazy. And I said that to people and said, that's just ridiculous. Your daughter's taken an overdose. How can that relate to anything? I said, I don't know, but I know one day it will. And I think my purpose is to actually help other women that might be in the same situation where they've had a child or somebody who's taken an overdose, because I can totally relate to that. So that's what I feel my purpose is.
Well, my name's Makala, but I'm known as Kai. I'm 33 and I'm from Liverpool, and my story of me is at the age of 5, my mum got into a relationship that my brother's dad was schizophrenic, and I watched him beat my mum up. I watched him almost rape my mum, watch me while I was sleeping. He mentally abused my mum and everything like that. He was schizophrenic and thought my mum was having an affair. My story progressed to me getting into my teens, that I decided to become a bit of a troubled teenager, that I rebelled a lot because I didn't have a father figure. My granddad passed away 26 years ago and he was my father figure because my dad's never been in my life. And from that I rebelled more, to the point of at the age of 15 I was sexually assaulted by a lad I went to school with, which then made me go into myself. But then I was like, no, I'm not going to let this happen, and I tried to pull myself out of it. And then at the age of 17 I met my ex-husband and got married at 18, and that's where my depression and anxiety kicked in a lot more. I took a downward spiral. He raped me, he abused me, he mentally abused me, and it took 3 years for him to end the relationship, not me, because I thought I loved the guy and I wanted to be with him. After that, my story went from relationship to relationship. I didn't love myself. He had totally and utterly beaten it out of me, to the point where only 2 years ago that I was engaged to a guy, actually having an affair with my best friend at the time. It caused me to have a mental breakdown, where I ended up under a hospital which is called the Clockview Tower in Liverpool, and I became an outpatient to them. And the gentleman asked my mum, who was with me, when do you think it started, and it come out about my brother's dad. And then he actually turned around and said, after I told him like my past and everything, he turned around and said, I'm shocked you're still actually standing. And I said, so am I, after the amount of suicide attempts I've taken and stuff like that. And then going forward to a year ago, I met my amazing partner Rob, and through him I started getting a bit of my confidence back, but not loads. I didn't love myself as much, but I could be me. I didn't have to be this other person that other people have made me try to be. And after that, I joined a anxiety support group, and I met an amazing lady called Emma, who's like now my big sister, and I've only known her since December. And randomly in January she turned around and said she had been told about the Female Mindset Project, and literally Sandie set the project up on the 17th of January, and on the 18th I became a member, and I've been a member ever since. I was told about the group by Emma, and once I joined the group I was a bit conscious, a bit wary. I didn't know much about it. She had been told by another friend and stuff, and then I started talking to Sandie, and I had never ever, I can talk on the phone, I can do that any day and it doesn't bother me. I go face to face with people and I panic, and that's part of my anxiety. But with Sandie, it felt like, it was like I was talking to like myself in a way, because she understood what I had gone through. And I did it Facebook Live talking to her, chat, and I just spilled everything, and she was like, I get everything that you've gone through apart from one instant that I've gone through. And it just went from there, and I've just grown confidence more and more with the help of her, of the other ladies, my own self, pushing myself, taking myself out of boundaries. Sandie has really helped on that, where if you would have gone before Christmas, I would never have done this. I would never have gone live and told my story to over 1,000 women in the group and everything like that. But it's helped so much, where I now can get up of a morning and I feel so much better. I can go and deal with my family, who are, some people of my family are my negative people. My mindset changed so dramatically in the space of 3 months that even my partner, I'm still trying to change him with his mindset, and he goes, you are not the person I met you a year ago. You're more radiant, you're more confident, you're more you than what you were previously. And I am grateful to have the group, to be honest, and I think most of us women are grateful, because she's very laid back. She's one where you can tell her anything and she doesn't judge you. where you go to some people and you tell your story and they're writing down and you're like, what are you writing? And it's all this, and it's horrible sometimes. I was under a counsellor. I do take medication. Thanks to Sandie, 2 weeks ago, my medication did get lowered, and I am happy on that, and I have made my little vision board and made myself say that by the end of this year, I want to be med-free. I don't want to be on my antidepressants, where if you would have asked me that 3 months ago, never would have thought I would have come off them, and I am grateful, very grateful.